Hello and a warm welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to take a seriously fascinating journey into the very mechanics of culture. We are going to explore the groundbreaking framework of cultural theorist Stuart Hall. We'll be looking at media not just as a simple channel for information, but as a giant, incredible, complex meaning factory. And if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the constant noise of the modern world, this framework is basically your blueprint for understanding exactly how all that noise which you hear is getting constructed actually. And you can start by asking yourself, what if everything you read or see or hear isn't actual reality, but it is a carefully manufactured product? And it's very easy to assume when we turn on the news or scroll through our feeds, we are simply absorbing raw facts. But the truth is way more constructed and honestly way more interesting than that. Today, we are going to unveil all those points. Welcome back to my channel, Academy Search. Now, if you see this, for decades we can see this old view model, and this is the old view of mass communication model, which is assumed that media was a transparent window. And what is happening in this traditional model? A sender is packing a message, shooting it through a channel, and a passive receiver is simply viewing it, absorbing it. Now, when the message was misunderstood, it was actually blamed on the noise or the receiver or the audience who was not up to the business of getting that message. Now, what Stuart Hall is doing, Stuart Hall is actually redunding it. This model, he's blowing up this model and he is arguing that the system is fundamentally distorted. He's saying that media does not just reflect the world, it is actually building it, and the window isn't clear. So it is actually the funhouse mirror. Therefore, he is dismantling the myth of transparent media. And why he's talking about a mirror? Because representation is actually not a reflection, it is an active process which is ongoing. Now,
Now you
you can
have this
see this
image in front
image.
of you.
Think about
Think
this
about
visual
this visual
discourse.
discourse.
It is
It
translating
must
a three
translate a three
dimensional
dimensional
living world
living
into a
world
flat
into a
two
flat
dimensional
two
coded plane.
dimensional coded plane.
Now, what media is doing here?
And
Media
media
is
does
not
not present
presenting the
reality.
reality of
It
the
is
dog
actually
there.
doing what?
It
It
is
is
actually
representing it
representing
through
it
a
through a
specific
specific
manufactured language.
manufactured language.
And Hall is
And
using a
Stuart Hall
perfect
is using a
metaphor for
perfect
this.
metaphor
He's
for
saying
this.
the
He's saying
dog in the
the
film
dog in
can
the
bark,
film
but
can bark,
it cannot
but
bite.
it cannot
And it
bite.
sounds obvious,
Now it
but it
sounds
is actually
obvious,
reminding us
but
that
it
this
is
dog on
actually
screen
reminding
is a
us
set of
that the dog on
codes. It is a
screen
set of
is a set
sounds,
of
lights,
codes,
and not the
sounds,
actual
lights, and
animal.
not just
So
the
reality
actual
does not
animal.
exist in the
It is just the
communicative
codes
way
which has been
outside the
drawn.
process of representation.
And the reality does not
Now you see the
exist
anatomy of the
in a
manufactured meaning.
communicative way
What is happening when we
outside
see
the
the
process
gears of
of
this meaning
representation.
factory? We are actually looking at semiotics. And every sign is the two-part puzzle. Now, what is that? You have a signifier, that is the physical form, like the image of the apple, and the signified, the mental concept which you have in your head, like the fruit or the health. So, here is actually the critical part of your analysis. The link between this image and the concept is entirely arbitrary, and it is a manufactured product of culture and convention, not a product of nature itself. So, here what we can see
is meaning is not found. It is actually assigned, it is given. Now, here is where things are getting dangerous. How it is getting dangerous? Because meaning has two layers. First is denotation, which is literal meaning, the dictionary definition which you see, and which we can also talk about like the tip of the iceberg. But what is underneath is the connotation, the deep ideological waters where power is operating. Now you can take the look of this traffic light which is there, and it is denoting stop, but it connotes state authority, danger, law, control, and by using these connotations, the media is making complex political ideas feel like natural. It's like unquestionable facts. Now, what is happening? Meaning is never static point. It's never a kind of fixed meaning which we have, and it's actually the loop which Hall is talking about, and it's calling the circuit of culture. And what it is involving, it is involving five interlocking points. The first one you can see is the representation, second is the identity, third is the production, and fourth is the consumption, and next is the regulation, and again it is coming back to the representation. So meaning is never stopping, it is actually constantly being articulated and re-articulated and articulated and re-articulated. And production determines how you consume something. The more you consume, the more production is there. But your consumption habits also dictate what gets produced. For example, if you like some sorts, or so you see the kind of things popping up in your news feed. So therefore, the more you consume, the more production is there in that particular subject. And no single moment in this loop can guarantee the outcome of the next. So, therefore, you cannot figure out, because the meaning is constantly in flux. It's changing, it's evolving, it's never fixed. Now, to understand this explainer, you have to understand that how media, culture, and self all are not natural. These are not biological facts. These are constructed, violently contested, and constantly reproduced. But here is the empowering part. If meaning is manufactured, it can be dismantled too. And understanding this mechanics of culture grants you the power to actively read your world rather than just being the passive audience who is absorbing and taking it. So, this is an ongoing struggle, and we make history, but we are also made by histories and discourses that is constructing us.
Thank you so much for joining in, and I'm leaving you with a challenge straight from this explainer. Look at the media you consume today and ask yourself, what preferred meanings are being encoded? What are you accepting as common sense? And most importantly, what is your oppositional reading? Now you have the tools to dismantle this machinery. Go out and use them. Thanks again for joining on Academia Search. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more videos on theories, and this will actually help me motivate to make such content again. Till then, happy learning, all of you.